Hi guys, hi everybody, most welcome to the Ugaman live show. And hey, today we're gonna talk about culture, building culture for brands, for individuals using social media. So if you're one person that is doing business, if you're that individual that you're working for a certain brand, and you're wondering how you can build a culture around your fans, around your consumers and customers, this is the episode for you. So you're most welcome, and let's get ready for this journey. So as we ride along, please feel free to check out my Twitter at Ugaman01, check out my Instagram at Ugaman01, and my YouTube at Ugaman. So we're going to be discussing all these things. Guys, feel free to put your questions in the comment section. Keep your questions straight to the point so I can be able to understand it. And if you want to reach out to me, please email me at mwbyfred@gmail.com. Today's episode goes out to all those guys who are building businesses. It goes out to all those CEOs and traditional, businesses that have been running, and they have a very long time thought that social media is a passing fad, or they can do without it. Truth be told, yes, with or without you, with or without your brand, social media still exists, and those that know how to leverage on the platforms will always take the added advantage beyond what your brand can do. So this is why this episode becomes a very, very key factor for everybody that is going to watch it. But most importantly, I would like to ask you guys that, the digital journey has got quite a lot of things that you need to be able to utilize. And when you keep learning one by one, you put them together, then you're going to have something massive that you reap at the end of the day. Like I always tell you guys, social media is not a passing fad. It is not something that is created to waste time. But also you need to remember that for you to have social media success, it needs a bit of time. You need to invest in resources. You need to invest in capital. You need to invest in people so that people learn how to use these tools. You need to have the right people do for you, the right graphics, the right content, and everything that surrounds that kind of bracket. So let's kick straight into it. And of course, my favorite app this week on my phone has been Periscope. Okay, I just discovered that Periscope actually is much more stable than it used to be, and Periscope has also got some very, very, very good audio clarity. Days before, I think Periscope used to have a lot of, you know, stoppages here and there and stuff like that. So this week, I actually took out to Periscope and I've done several episodes on it. And I think it's giving me good results because all my shows that now I do on YouTube, I actually record them using Periscope and then I stream that same link to my YouTube. So, and the feedback has been very, very good. So I want to encourage you, if you want to do Twitter Live, yes, you can be able to do Twitter Live from the Twitter app, or you actually can use your Periscope to do Twitter Live and at the same time on Periscope. Okay, so guys, let's kick and deep dive into this subject. So first and foremost, I want to tell you guys that social media is a tool that builds culture. And when I talk about culture, I talk about behavior, I talk about perception, I talk about policy, I talk about feedback, and all these things. Building a culture or a brand culture does not necessarily mean that what you're building should only belong to your employees or only to the director and the founders. Building a culture in business or building a brand culture requires that everybody that becomes part of this brand, that everybody that becomes part of your business understands how and why your brand does the things it does and why it is very important for them to be part of that brand. And this is what I'm here to exactly discuss today. How you as a CEO, how you as a business founder, you can be able to build a deep culture within your customers, within your fans, and definitely within the people that are around your brand. Number one, we must realize that social media is more psychological than anything else. Okay? It is a perception, it is a belief, it's a science of trust, okay, and an art of trust. It's a block that you build. It's that block where you come up and say, this is what I want people to believe when they see Ugaman. This is what I want people to believe when they talk about this brand. This is what I want people to believe when somebody mentions this brand. It is more psychological. It's more intangible than tangible. Okay? So let's now deep dive into the bit of being psychological. So this is why I say that social media is more psychological. So first and foremost, you're going to move to different platforms. Okay? And like I've always told you guys, there is no platform that has it all. There is no platform that is king over others. Actually, what happens is when you find one user who knows how to market on Instagram so well that people pick onto what they have put up, then you may find the same individual actually not doing so well on Twitter, or not doing so well on YouTube, or not even doing so well on LinkedIn and Facebook. But that individual has the capacity to actually market a brand and sell an idea and sell a perception to people on their Instagram more than they do on Twitter. However, you find someone who is so good at Twitter and they just can't do Instagram. So the science behind how you perform on a given platform is actually the belief you have that the people around your brand or the people that are around the service you're providing or the product that you're selling are actually found on that platform. And it is natural that if I know I have more people on Twitter, I'm going to devote my energies towards Twitter and creating content that engages with those people than spending much more time on platforms where I'm weak. Okay? But it doesn't mean that the other platforms where you're not doing well shouldn't be sharing. You should be sharing. Now, the perception that you have as a brand, the perception that you have as a CEO, the perception that you have as a business founder is where your efforts are going to be. Okay? If you know that your brand is crafted for women between the age of 5 to the age of 12, then you're actually going to look out for those platforms that can either have those age groups watching content or have the age group of their parents looking out for that content because you want to reach out to this person that is going to be part of your brand or that you want actually to purchase your service or your product. So the cycle is very simple. And this is how we need to be breaking out these tools. Because most times people actually have no reason for jumping from Instagram to Twitter, from Twitter to Facebook to LinkedIn. And when you ask a business owner why you want to do Facebook, they'll tell you because all my other friends who own companies do have Facebook pages. Another person will say, because many of the other CEOs are also on LinkedIn. Therefore, if you're coming to do for me social media as a brand, you must also embrace LinkedIn. Okay? So this is the grave mistake that many people do. And as a result, many actually end up not building the culture that they want their clients and their customers to have, or that they want actually the real brand owners to have. And this is why it is very key from the word go to understand the mission and vision of a brand. Many times, social media is looked at like a tool that is not scientific. Okay, it's looked at like a tool that you can gamble your way around it and you get through. But I want to remind you something, that social media is built over time. Okay, things are built over time, and as such, you need to put in some effort to do a background check on who you want to reach, which age group is that, and which platform is actually suitable for that. That research, that background check is very, very important when it comes to making the right decisions on where to spend your money and where to spend your resources and where to spend your effort in terms of creating content that brings value to the brand. Now, after understanding that social media is more psychological than physical or than anything, then how do you take people on a journey? Okay, so it's more like me saying, if I want to take you to Masaka, and then I first take you to Gulu, then bring you back to Fort Portal, then bring you to Mbarara, then take you to Masaka. Okay, I'm causing confusion. I'm going to confuse you along the journey. And this is what many brands do. Okay, so many brands have the ideas, so many brands have the content, but they just cannot craft the journey that is necessary for you to create a brand culture. They just don't know the right arrangement of this flow of stories for you to build a brand culture. Because if you're building a brand culture, first and foremost, you need to have people to understand the reasons why your brand is the way it is. If your brand is actually meant for young girls in high school, it should be able to reflect that. And for you to be able to reflect that, you don't target grandmothers, you don't target grandfathers, you target the age group that you want to reach out to. This is why I say it is very key for you to understand that social media may be a bit more artistic, but there is a bit of scientific research and scientific data that you need for you to make that decision. Okay? So make no mistake, the way you arrange your communication online has a very big impact on how your culture is crafted. Take an example. If I want to take a John Walker, and I know maybe a John Walker can be taken in a bar, it can be taken at meetings, or it can be taken at home. Okay? And I know that John Walker goes so well with ice. And maybe if I'm to do a cocktail, then I'm going to use this particular soft drink or juice to make this John Walker. Now, if I want to teach consumers of John Walker in that kind of style, then I have got to craft a journey for them. I have got to craft the content that will deliver this message to them. And I'm not telling them that this is what you must do, but I'm just showing them that, hey, if you want to enjoy the John Walker experience, this is what will deliver the biggest value for you as you consume this product, as you use this service, as you consume this. Okay, and this is where so many business founders actually get stuck, because they don't want to go to the direction that is going to bring them the goals. They want to rotate around thinking they want to do what other brands are doing. And as such, after a very short time, they give up. Okay? After a very short time, they give up. Now, you'd ask me a question. Why do these guys give up? Why do they give up? After a very short time. This is what happens. When you craft content about your brand, and you seem to be providing bits from the head to toes, to the knees, to the stomach, to the chest, and you don't have a complete set of arrangement that will let someone know what is A, what is B, what is C, you are going to confuse the kind of community you're building. And this is where it is very, very key. Your brand should always be guided by your vision and mission. No matter what campaign you're doing, no matter what promotion you're doing, these aspects are very, very key in holding your brand culture and also in letting people know exactly what your brand stands for. The last thing you want to do is put your brand out in space and people just don't see the direction you're taking. People just don't understand whether you want to teach them how to use their service, or you want to teach them how to deal with your product, or you want to teach them some new things they didn't know about your product and how best they can consume your product. Okay, now that's one of the biggest challenges that so many businesses face today. And because of that, many of them have not actually embraced social media as tools that can build culture around your brands. I want to give you some tips if you're one of those people that is interested actually in building brand culture, in building a fan base that believes and trusts in what you do. It's not always about exciting your fans or your customers. It's always about a mixture of things that build a solid, complete community. That community, you also have to nurture it. And the things I'm talking about are some of those aspects that nurture a community. If I bring 10 people together to come and buy a service from me, and because all I'm aiming at is making a sale, then I'm failing out on building a community. And this is what many business owners forget. This is what insurance managers forget. Because insurance, especially in this part of the world, in East Africa, still believe that for you to convince me to buy an insurance policy, you have to walk to my office. They still believe in being foot soldiers. They still believe that insurance can only be sold if I see you physically. They forget that the reason I would love to buy insurance is because of my insecurities, okay? And if anyone is going to sell to me an insurance policy, then you must leverage on my insecurities for you to convince me to buy into this policy. This is what it means to build a culture. What insurance sells are solutions that will help you reduce on the level of risk, that will help you shift the burden of risk that you have to a company that is going to sell you a policy. And that is what will happen. Okay? But if you focus on telling people that buying a policy is good, forgetting to tell them that you're buying this policy because we want to take away the risk of you losing your car, the risk of you dying and your children do not have anyone to pay for their tuition or school fees, the risk of you building your awesome house and then one day it burns down because of maybe a short circuit or anything. These are the risks that people think about and then start to revolve their mind around insurance. That is just one of the examples. Okay? If a bank wants to sell a product to a client and this client already has an account in this bank, but they actually don't know which services suit them, or they don't know some of the services that would be very nice to have as account owners. What is best for the business to do is not actually to tell the client that, hey, come and take this. what is best for the business to do is actually to break down the levels and categories of clients that can take up some services. Look here, if my account balance does not reflect that I can take a loan to buy a new car, please don't come marketing to me, because you are actually putting me in a level that I cannot reach or I cannot attain. That is how you build culture. That a bank will actually have ways of communicating to different individuals in a certain way of putting out content to show that, hey, if your account balance is 1 million Uganda shillings, then you qualify for micro loan of maybe 2 million or 3 million for you to enhance your business, for you to expand your business, for you to start up a new small business, maybe for relatives, for sisters, and stuff like that. Because that way, you have in a way tailored your products and items and services to the right person you want to target. Now, if it comes to clients who can afford the cars, that is very okay, because as a communicator from a brand, or as someone creating content about a given brand, say for example a bank that I'm talking about, you need to remember that you have the high-end and you have the low-end customers. How you craft your content will automatically actually call out those that are impressed about what you've put aside, those that you think can be able to enjoy this service. And because people know that now this bank knows how to tailor its services to the levels of people's savings, of people's accounts, everybody will start trusting the products and services that you produce. Everybody will start believing in how you tailor your products towards clients. But remember, I told you the first thing for you to understand is, who are you targeting? And this research is very important. If you're going to launch a product, to who is this product aiming? Who are you targeting to buy your new product? Who are you targeting to buy your new service? These are questions that are mandatory that you should ask yourself as a business owner, as a marketing strategist, as a marketing manager, as a content creator. Who is going to be buying the new product that you're launching? And the moment you know that this category of people is going to be buying, or we intend actually to target these people, never and never create content to target the entire community. There you'll be failing out on actually what your actual goals are. You need to be able to identify the real people that you want to be talking to. That is how a conversation flows. Take an example. If you woke up in the room and started talking to yourself, and there is actually no one around you to hear what you're saying, there is no one around you to understand what you're saying, you're going to speak for an hour and you're speaking to yourself. Okay? You're going to be speaking to yourself. Now, this is the reality that happens to so many brands. Brands speak to themselves. They decide to throw out content. They decide to throw out any videos, any adverts, targeting nobody. Because here's the thing. If you put out content that is targeting males who are married, and there's a female who is reading this content, it is very easy for the female who has read the content to actually share it to a male friend, or to their husband, or to their boyfriend, or to their father, brothers, and stuff like that. Sometimes even to their workmates. It's very easy for these people to recommend. It's very easy for these people to quickly know that, hey, this product is targeted for males between 18 and 40 years of age. And anybody that reads that content, whether they're male or female, it's most likely that they'll take action. it's most likely that they will understand who that content is targeted to. So, as a brand manager, as a business owner, please never let yourself put out information that has not been tailored. The last mistake you want to make is allowing yourself to go into the field of creating content about your brand or service and you don't have anyone you're targeting. In other words, you don't have a goal. This is why I said that so many brands go out on Twitter, go out on Instagram, and speak to themselves. Simply because someone did not consider who their target is. Someone did not consider what community you are talking to. Someone did not consider what your actual goals are out of this campaign, out of this promotion that you are doing on social media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this or you'll be watching it later, I want to tell you it's not too late. There are just a few steps that you can correct to put your social media game to the point, and also to make sure that you have the right community tapping into what your brand culture is all about. When I talk about brand culture, it's a system of creating belief for people to follow the right things while consuming your services or using your products or even recommending your products. It's very important to understand the different ways how people can consume your service, how people can use your product, and how people can actually be able to recommend others to use your service as well. So as you build the core foundation of your brand to communicate, I want to remind you that many of us learn a lot of things from the adverts we watch on TV and the adverts we hear on radio. And why is that? Because these adverts are well crafted with a message to a specific audience, but quite often, even when we know the advert is advertising a kids' wear, we the old people watch the advert and take action. The kids will watch the advert and ask their parents to take action. Friends will watch the advert and recommend certain products and services to their friends who have kids. In other words, even when you have a targeted audience in your content, it appeals to everybody that looks at it. And because it appeals to everyone, then people are able to take action. And this is what I call deep culture building. You cannot build a deep culture without nurturing a community. And you cannot nurture a community without having a direction. You cannot have a direction if you don't know what your mission and vision are as a brand. Your mission and vision will keep you on track to avoid going to the noise of social media, to avoid going to the noise of digital platforms. There's a lot of content put out there. There's a lot of hashtags. How do you craft the right hashtag that will have your content flow so that people can go into your journey? This is what I said. You cannot have a direction if you're moving in a zigzag style. You cannot have a direction if your brand is promoting this week because you're launching a new product, and soon after launching the product, you drop the energies of pushing content on social media. Social media success is a continuous effort of you being able to create content over a period of time that will nurture this community to understand the journey that you're walking. This journey, many brands today walk it alone. Many brands today have clients, but they don't walk the journey with them. Many brands today think about selling and selling and selling. They think nothing about empathy. They think nothing about customer care, feedback. They think nothing about corporate social responsibility. And this is what many brands do today, that they do a lot of selling. Okay? They'll tell you, hey, we're making sales, we're making sales. So their sales funnel is very active. And all they look at is, have you bought? Have you bought? But at the end of the day, I may buy now and fail to buy in the future. Just because I didn't know how to actually deal with some issue that I put on my social media and tagged the brand, and the brand ignored me. I know many people using apps for certain brands, using softwares for certain brands, and they get stuck. You go to social media and find so many people raising issues. But after month, there are no answers that are coming through to these customers, to these partners, to these users. And I think this is where we now need to be able to differentiate that when it comes to building a culture, it's not only about selling, it's not only how much you have sold in a single month, it's about how many people you have converted to believe in you, to believe in your brand, to appreciate your service. These people need to understand how your brand works, for who your brand is made, and under what circumstances your brand becomes a real valuable asset. This is what you need. This is how you play the long-term goal. This is how you play the long-term game, okay? Because if you start playing the short-term goal, or if you start playing the short-term game, then you're going to have a challenge to sustain. You're going to have a challenge to build a community that will stand with your brand as you take a journey. You're going to have a very big challenge when it comes to getting feedback, because people don't believe in what you do. People don't believe in what you're selling. People don't actually believe that what you are doing is giving them value. This is why you have brands like Nike, you have brands like Adidas, you have brands like Puma already succeeding. And you know the reason why? It's because Nike is working so hard for athletes and all people in sports to perfect their craft. In other words, they have built a culture that we're doing what we're doing because we want you, the user, we want you, the buyer, to maximize and reach your fullest potential. Think about it for a minute. If you told someone that we're designing this suit, we're designing this shoe because we want to elevate the confidence of young girls who have been bullied in schools. We're designing this t-shirt because we want to raise awareness about the environment. We're designing this kind of shirt because we want to raise awareness about freedom, freedom of speech, democracy, and all those aspects. We are providing this service because we want to educate people and we want a community that understands the value of protecting the environment. This is how you build culture. This is how you build brands that last beyond only seeking for short-term goals. When you keep playing the short-term goal, you're going to kick out all those that have been interested in what you're doing, because they will feel neglected and they will feel forgotten. But if you play in your mind knowing what your vision and mission is as a brand and who you want to target, take time, perfect your craft, target a small group of people with the real intent that when these people look at the content you're sharing on your social media platforms, they will understand what you're talking about. That way, you're nurturing a community that is going to give you sales, that is going to give you referrals, that is going to market for you. You're actually going to build a community of brand ambassadors without you knowing. And this is what it means. This is what it takes. If any of you has ever been to a party and you find at the entrance you have the word exit, then at the exit you have the word entrance, you will still find some people moving around to move to the exit and enter the venue through the exit. And then you'll find those looking for the word exit to exit the venue through the entrance. This is what happens to real content. This is what happens to brands. If people don't know where to go, if people don't know what to do with your service, with your product, with your software, with your application, many of them can use it the opposite way. And this is very true. This is why I told you that content creation and digital platforms are more psychological than physical. It's more about perception. It's more about belief. It's more about trust. It's more about empathy. It's more about care. It's more about customer service. It's more about how much do you invest into making me as your client a better person. It's more about how much do you want me to know what journey you're walking. Why do you make shoes that I can wear at a party and at the same time go with to the field? I want to know this journey. Why are you rebranding from green to blue? Or why are you saying now you want to pack your products and your juice in a bottle that you can recycle? Why is your CSR towards young girls that have been bullied? This is what shapes the journey. Every single time you craft out a message that is directed towards a certain group that you have identified, it becomes very easy to have that message actually even reach more people, because whoever reads it can easily know who you're targeting. And as such, these people can even help you spread it to the right people that you're targeting. This is how social media works. And that is what we all need to appreciate. That is what we all need to learn. Because at the end of the day, you have got to appreciate what your customers and what your consumers bring to the table. And as such, you have got to work with them. You have got to work with them. And this is very easy to do, because at the end of the day, at the end of the tunnel, you want to maximize sales, but at the same time, you want your sales funnel to grow. And if you're somebody that wants to make a sale once, then it's okay, don't build a community. It's okay, don't build a brand culture. But if you're one that is interested in building your sales funnel year after year, month after month, then start building brand culture. Your perception as a consumer is what will drive you. Your belief system about a given brand, about a given individual, or a given service provider is what will keep you going back to consume that service. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me. Thank you so much for taking off time to always watch this and reach out to me in the DM and stuff like that. I appreciate, because I know someone out there is going to watch this video and be able to change the way they do business, be able to build a very good startup, and be able to create better content than they were creating yesterday. The journey of social media is so wide and is so big. We can only become better if we focus on certain areas and make sure that we perfect them. That is what will help us. So if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via email, mwbyfred@gmail.com. That is mwbyfred@gmail.com. You can also check out my Twitter at Ugaman01. Okay, Ugaman01. And then also the same on Instagram. And also you can reach out to me on YouTube at Ugaman. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys again on another episode. And I hope you guys are getting better, not bitter, because these tools are here to stay. And hey,